Please welcome candidates from the class of 2023 from the college. Please welcome candidates from the Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering. Please welcome candidates from the Divinity School. Please welcome candidates from the Division of the Biological Sciences and the Pritzker School of Medicine. Please welcome candidates from the William B. and Catherine V. Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies. Please welcome candidates from the Division of the Humanities. Please welcome candidates from the Law School. Please welcome candidates from the Crown Family School of Social Work, Policy, and Practice. Please welcome candidates from the Division of the Social Sciences. Please welcome candidates from the Irving B. Harris Graduate School of Public Policy Studies.
So try to gather around the only mic that is available for you, and so kind of arch each other.
spirit sang all day. Oh, my joy, nothing my tongue could say. Only my joy, my heart an echo called. Oh, my joy, and spake, tell me I thought, hide not my joy. My heart can feel almost. Oh, my joy, what beauty hast thou found? Show us thy joy. My jealous fears grow mist. Oh, my joy, music from heaven is sent for my joy. She also came and heard. Oh, my joy, what said she is this word? What is thy joy? Is thy joy? And I replied, oh, see, oh, my joy, 'tis thee, I cried, 'tis thee, thou art my joy.
Please welcome candidates from the Booth School of Business. Please welcome candidates from the Division of the Physical Sciences.
Marshal of the University, it is my honor to declare open the proceedings of the 537th Convocation of the University of Chicago, and to introduce the university's 14th President, Paul Alivisatos. Please be seated.
Students of the class of 2023, parents, families, friends, faculty, and staff, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 537th Convocation of the University of Chicago. Class of 2023, today we celebrate your tremendous achievements. Graduates, on behalf of the whole of the University of Chicago, let me be among the first to congratulate you. You can and should take great pride in the hard work, perseverance, and resilience that has brought you and your classmates to this day. I know that pride will be matched and possibly exceeded by your families, friends, mentors, and neighbors who have done so much and encouraged your efforts. To all who helped along the way, thank you. Our ceremony may mark the culmination of this particular time for you as a student at the university, but it is neither an ending nor a severing of the deep connections you have formed in this place. In fact, at the first convocation in 1893, our founding president, William Rainey Harper, had something very particular in mind. He envisioned a joyful gathering that would serve to confer awards and honors, to reflect on what has passed, and to imagine what lies ahead. Most importantly, in his own words, to bind together into a unity the many complex and diverging forms of activity which constitute our university life and work. Each person who has passed through this institution has been immersed in a very distinct culture. This is a place where all those diverging forms of activity converge. As you, our graduates, have come to know, ours is a culture characterized by a true love of ideas, a genuine curiosity to understand everything in the deepest way possible, and a commitment to be rigorous in one's thinking. Above all, you have learned to listen to those with whom you disagree, even as you share your own views earnestly. These foundational values inform so much of the research and learning that takes place on our campuses each day. They suffuse the ethos of the work of your educators, which at its core is the work of persistently cultivating in students the habits of mind and character that illuminate and make possible the process of personal transformation. This lifelong process is what your UChicago education has unlocked within you. The many moments that shaped the form of your transformation will have been different for each of you. In classrooms, labs, studios, you have shared in a culture that not only invited but demanded that you commit yourselves to question what others may merely accept, to place reasoned thinking ahead of authority and dogma, to learn how to approach problems from many different angles and perspectives. In engaging in this rigorous practice day over day, you have cultivated a rich life of the mind. It has prepared you well for unknown next chapters. Today marks the beginning of the next stage of your journey, as you take out into the world all that you have learned during your time here. There will be many challenges, both those already well known and those yet to emerge, that your generation will be the one to rise to address. I encourage that you bring a spirit that is eager to uncover the opportunities inherent to each. For each challenge, no matter how large or complex, there is also opportunity. Opportunity to reach across difference, to foster productive partnerships, to pursue new ways of thinking that can surface solutions that might not otherwise have been possible. The habits of mind that allow for this kind of thinking and practice is of the same fundamental matter that makes up our university's culture and the education you've received here. As you prepare for your next chapter, you will carry this with you. Like many generations of UChicago graduates that came before you, yours will be the minds that shape the world. Through the gifts of knowledge that you offer society, you will undoubtedly bring about meaningful change in both your lives and the lives of many others. Your ideas, your voices and words will craft new tools for creating knowledge. You will be the ones who ask the questions of ethics and impact that must be asked. You will help renew social contracts, extend healing, expand prosperity. Your practiced commitment to reason and to discover, as well as your open curiosity and rigorous focus, fills us with hope for the world that you will shape in the decades ahead. It has been a tremendous privilege for the university to become a partner to you, not just on this segment, but on the entire remainder of your lifelong journey of learning and becoming. Our greatest aim is to have played a role in helping you realize and lead lives of meaning and purpose. Our greatest hope is to continue to be your partner as you engage the world beyond the boundaries of our campuses. As we celebrate today, let us bind together all the more tightly for the road ahead. Okay. The degrees awarded today, I confer by virtue of the authority delegated to me by the university's Board of Trustees. I do so on behalf of the faculty of the University of Chicago that has responsibility for the educational programs recently completed. Once again, welcome to the 537th Convocation, and congratulations on all you have accomplished.
I am pleased to introduce this year's Convocation speaker, Tom Ginsburg, the Leo Spitz Distinguished Service Professor of International Law in the Law School. Professor Ginsburg specializes in comparative and international law from an interdisciplinary perspective. He was recently named inaugural faculty director of the University of Chicago Forum for Free Inquiry and Expression. His many publications include several highly acclaimed books. The latest, Democracies in International Law, received the Best Book Award from the American branch of the International Law Association, as well as the Dalton Award for Best Book on Foreign Relations from the American Society of International Law. He's also the author of How to Save a Constitutional Democracy with Aziz Hook, winner of the Best Book Award from the International Society for Constitutional Law, The Endurance of National Constitutions with Zachary Elkins and James Melton, and Judicial Review in New Democracies, the latter two both receiving awards from the American Political Science Association. Before he began teaching law, Professor Ginsburg served as a legal advisor at the Iran United States Claims Tribunal in The Hague. He continues to work with numerous international development agencies and foreign governments on legal and constitutional reform, and serves as a senior advisor on the Constitution Building Program at the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. Professor Ginsburg is a fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, a research professor at the American Bar Association, and co-host of the Entitled podcast on human rights. During his time at the university, Professor Ginsburg has served as Deputy Dean of the Law School. He is the Ludwig and Hilde Wolff Research Scholar at the Law School, currently co-directs the Comparative Constitutions Project, an effort funded by the National Science Foundation to gather and analyze the constitutions of all independent nation-states since 1789, and is faculty director of the Molly Center for the Study of Institutional and Legal Integrity. He's been a member of the University of Chicago faculty since 2008. Please join me in welcoming Professor Ginsburg.
Thank you, Provost Baicker, President Alivisatos, colleagues, friends, parents, and most of all, graduates. Congratulations, class of 2023. When asked to give a convocation address, my first instinct was to ask for help. And so I started, as one does in 2023, with ChatGPT. I asked it to produce a 5-paragraph speech summarizing University of Chicago values. You'll all be happy to hear that I will not be reading that speech today. It was boring and full of cliches. So I decided to try to spice it up by asking it to do the same in the style of Taylor Swift, who many of you know she's in town this weekend, and many of you might even be seeing her if you're lucky. Just be yourself. There's no one better, she apparently said, which is pretty good, but hardly enough to fill up the 2 hours I've been allocated for this address. Cue nervous laughter for everyone in the sun. I'm JK there. I decided to go to my second instinct, which was to think back to my own graduation address and to see if there was any recollection I had of the words of wisdom imparted to me on that occasion. To my great surprise, I actually can remember the San Francisco real estate magnate who spoke to us, but I no longer recall a word of what he said. I do, however, remember what happened afterwards. Just a couple months after my graduation, a man named Francis Fukuyama, who incidentally had been born right here in Hyde Park, where his father was a graduate student, published an important and famous article called The End of History. Drawing on ideas associated with Hegel and other philosophers I'm sure you're all familiar with, Fukuyama argued that the world was converging toward liberal democracy as the sole ideological basis for legitimate government. He was not saying that all countries would become democracies, but rather that ideologically there was no more competition in terms of the basis of legitimacy. The people had won, and the dialectic of history was over. Now, all of the scholars on the stage behind me can verify that we can never be sure that anyone will read anything that we write, but it surely helps to have good timing. A couple months after Fukuyama's article was published, the Berlin Wall fell. Democracy indeed seemed to be the only game in town, and he became famous as a great prognosticator. Today, he remains an important scholar at an obscure university located in Palo Alto, California. As a young person, I myself was fascinated with this democratic wave, and in some sense, I am a product of that very moment. I've spent my academic career trying to understand where constitutional democracy comes from, how it can be sustained, and how it dies. In recent years, this last has become the more important question. Authoritarianism in various forms is on the rise. Democracy is looking a little shabby in places. The number of democracies in the world has declined in every year since 2006, and the number of people living in democracies is now less than half of the global population. Fewer agree, it seems, with Winston Churchill's famous quip that democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others. Of course, this on its own doesn't mean that Fukuyama was wrong. Today's authoritarians cloak themselves in democratic garb. The hereditary monarchy known as North Korea, in fact, has the official name of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and at least one of those words is accurate. It is indeed Korea. Today's authoritarians often operate in governments that on the surface look democratic. They hold elections. They have constitutions with long lists of rights. They have courts, and research has shown how these things help them to survive. When democracies die these days, they do not do so in a sudden flash. It's not a coup, it's not a communist revolution, but rather most often through death by 1,000 cuts, a series of degradations at the hands of people who themselves have been democratically elected. In recent years, these concerns have even come to us in the United States. Our mood is sour. Our institutions do not seem to respond to us. My colleague Kathy Cohen has shown that many young people, especially from marginalized communities, would prefer revolution to democracy. Polls, including by my colleague Sue Stokes, show that majorities of Americans are dissatisfied with how our democracy is working. Our political discourse is hysterical, and our partisan polarization is extreme. We have friends, we have foes, and we have nothing in between. Most Americans do not want their children to marry someone of the other political party, and we now even have divorce proceedings in which political differences are cited as the basis for marital dissolution. The only thing we seem to be able to agree upon is the source of the problem. A sizable majority of Americans agree that it's the other side's fault. What are we to make of this situation? How bad is it? I want to suggest that we take a deep breath. It's important first to remember that being a citizen of a democracy can be depressing, as our leaders continually come up short and we have the collective freedom to voice our displeasure. Disappointment and hope are the twin emotions that drive democracy. Disappointment in where we are, and hope that better days are possible if we can just get another chance at the ballot. Elections are a kind of siren song that keeps us going. The winner governs, the loser goes away to lick their wounds, but survives to fight another day. In contrast, the central emotion of dictatorship is not hope, but fear. Everyone knows that strongmen survive by intimidating opponents and subjects. What is less well appreciated is that the individual with the most to fear is actually the dictator himself. Such a person's greatest fear is not a mass public uprising or a revolution. That rarely happens. Instead, their greatest fear is being deposed by someone in their own inner circle. Losing office in a democracy means you lose power for a time. Losing office in a dictatorship means you lose power, freedom, your assets, and possibly even your head. No wonder dictators are so paranoid. Ordinary people under such governments can survive the fear by self-censoring, staying silent, and laying low. But this does not mean that they give up their voice entirely. Citizens in dictatorships are remarkably courageous and creative in finding ways to engage in criticism without crossing the line. They use the three-finger salute from the Hunger Games. They hold up blank pieces of paper to indicate that they can't say anything. They speak in parables and jokes. We in democracies, of course, can be more direct in our criticism, and we are. But our challenge, then, is not to let our disappointment overwhelm the hope, for that opens the door for fear to take over. In thinking about our current moment, I've become very fond of a speech given by John Dewey, the great American philosopher who taught here at Chicago and appeared at this very convocation in 1902. I learned about the speech from my colleague Agnes Callard. In 1939, at what was surely democracy's darkest hour, Dewey wrote an essay called Creative Democracy, in which he said, "The heart and final guarantee of democracy is in free gatherings of neighbors and friends, in living rooms, street corners, to converse freely with one another. Mere legal guarantees of free belief, free expression, and free assembly are of little avail if in daily life freedom of communication, the give and take of ideas and experiences, is choked by mutual suspicion, by abuse, by fear and hatred." Dewey's reminding us that democracy requires conversation. There is simply no substitute for sitting down and talking with other human beings. It is how we think. This is why Confucius and Plato come down to us in the form of dialogues. the family dinner, the friendly argument, the impassioned debate, the casual chat. Not every conversation we have is political, but every form of politics requires human conversation, which is, of course, one reason I love the University of Chicago and our culture of argument and friendly challenge. At its best, we strive to be tough on ideas and kind to people, whereas much of other discourse these days seems to be the opposite: tough on people, weak on ideas. Sorry, Twitter. One of my favorite writers is Jeanette Winterson, and she reminds us that conversation is in no way easy. Describing having breakfast with her grandmother, she put it this way: common and rare to sit face to face like this. Common that people do, rare that they understand each other. Each speaks a private language and assumes it to be the lingua franca. Sometimes words dock, and there's a cheer at port and cargo to unload, and such relief that the voyage was worth it. You understand me then? Conversation, we know, doesn't just happen on its own. Free speech only works if people are actually listening. And in our era, we have a surplus of speech and a huge deficit of listening. We need much more active work in generating environments for dialogue, conversation, and debate, and encouraging curiosity and listening about what others are saying. I think this is an essential role for universities in a democracy in our era, and it's something I hope that the University of Chicago can lead on in years ahead. In thinking back to my own research, I can recall several examples in which people can do amazing things if they are willing to listen and engage in conversation with others. In 1996 in South Africa, people came together in a divided society with a brutal history to craft a new constitution for what Mandela called the rebirth of the nation. The drafting process was not easy, and there were several tense moments when it looked like it might fail. In particular, the preamble, which is a kind of a mission statement for a country and for a constitution, was very contentious, and they put it off to the very end. When the drafters could not agree, they decided to send into a room the Communist Party representative and the pastor of the National Party, which was the governing party under apartheid. These two people had nothing in common, and yet they accomplished the task, produced a draft, and helped lay the groundwork for a democratic South Africa. It is hard to imagine that Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American woman elected to Congress and to run for president in 1972, went to the hospital to visit the segregationist George Wallace after he was shot and paralyzed at a campaign stop. Wallace cried when she walked in, and she said, "You and I don't agree, but you've been shot, and I might be shot, and we're both the children of American democracy, so I wanted to come see you." Wallace eventually renounced segregation and asked for forgiveness, appointing several African Americans to his final cabinet as governor. I also think about participants in the Citizens' Assembly in Northern Ireland, another very divided society, who came together to make recommendations on public policy. These citizens' assemblies involved randomly selected groups of citizens, something many scholars think could rejuvenate our own democracy. After this process, the participants said that they had expected entrenched views from others, but instead found that most people were open to discussion and change. This is something shown over and over again by social psychologists like Nick Epley of the Booth School, that people underestimate the benefit of conversation until they engage in it. As I stand here today and recall how much I've learned from talking to people, I'd like to invite you to take just a second and think about someone with whom you've had a deep conversation during your time here at Chicago. It's something to treasure. And actually, it makes me a little less anxious about ChatGPT. A machine can mimic conversation. It can beat us at chess. It can beat us at Go. But it cannot have the genuine sense of doubt and openness and vulnerability that leads to actual learning and creativity in conversation. AI has no self to express, no mind to change, no vote to cast. In closing, I want to say that I remain optimistic about democracy for several reasons. One bit of good news for the United States is that a majority of Americans of both parties say they have some or a great deal of confidence in the future. We still possess that vital emotion of hope if we can just activate it. More than 80% of Americans say they have friends or relatives with whom they disagree with politically, and a majority of them say that they converse at times across those differences. The public, I believe, is much less divided than the politicians or media would have us believe, because those entities, of course, have an interest in division. It suggests that a national conversation is still possible if we choose to have one. Another point of optimism, we repeatedly see people around the world, from Armenia to Zambia, are willing to take steps for their freedom and voice. A global youth movement focused on issues like climate change is experimenting with new forms of participation. Women in Iran and Afghanistan have undertaken enormous personal risk to make their voices heard. They're taking abstract ideas of equality and justice and turning them into reality. To go back to Shirley Chisholm, one of my favorite quotes from her is that you don't make progress by standing on the sidelines whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. Which brings me to my third and final reason for optimism, which is all of you. We have watched you engage in complicated, difficult conversations under truly unprecedented circumstances. For those who've been here for 4 years, you thought you were coming to the place where fun went to die, but within 6 months, you're back in your parents' basement taking classes on Zoom. What could possibly be more fun than that? Today is the day you get to go out into the world to implement your ideas developed in conversation with others here. Keep talking, keep listening, and stay curious. Congratulations, class of 2023.
At this time, in the favoring presence of the congregation here assembled, the sponsors of the honorary degree candidates will present the candidates for honorary degrees to the president of the university.
Arup Chakraborty is considered one of the most gifted, creative, and original contemporary thinkers, working at the confluence of molecular engineering, theoretical immunology, biophysics, and statistical mechanics, whose work has really changed the direction of immunological research. After an early career as a classically trained chemical engineer working on the applications of density functional theory and polymer field theory, he's moved to apply the principles and tools of statistical thermodynamics to the behavior of the adaptive immune system and viral infection. He revolutionized the field of computational immunology by forging a path that many have since followed and widened, and he established the principles that are now a standard part of the computational immunology toolbox. His work on immunological synapses, immune responses, especially with respect to HIV and formation of biological condensates, and how they play an important role in transcription, is particularly deserving of recognition. Mr. President, on behalf of the Faculty Committee on Honorary Degrees, I have the honor to present Arup K. Chakraborty for the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Science.
Arup K. Chakraborty is recognized for his wide and profound influence in using the theoretical tools of physical science to illuminate phenomena and to revolutionize understanding in fields ranging from catalysis to immunology to gene transcription. By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon Arup K. Chakraborty the degree of Doctor of Science. I now welcome him to the Honorable Company of Scholars of the University of Chicago. Congratulations.
James P. Comer is one of the world's leading child psychiatrists and a groundbreaking and transformative scholar in the fields of education and child development. He is a renowned clinician and educator whose innovative programs have improved the lives of countless children and families. Broad seminal contributions to his field stem from his many decades of research and applications in the development of pioneering and theoretically grounded interventions in large-scale educational programs. The noted innovations have profoundly shaped the field of educational research and practice. He is well known for his creation of the Comer School Development Program, a model that grew from his research with children from under-resourced communities, and also for his theoretical innovation in relating educational processes to interpersonal relationships at many scales. His work has given rise to powerful ideas that are now common currency in the field of education. Contributing insights include the concept of social and emotional learning, the importance of soft skills for children's learning, and the significance of family and community engagement in supporting academic success, particularly for children living in thinly resourced ecologies of human development. For children broadly, and specifically children of color, and those developing in under-resourced contexts, he continues to be a key leader in shaping his field's capacity to research across the diversity of human experience. Mr. President, on behalf of the Faculty Committee on Honorary Degrees, I have the honor to present James P. Comer for the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
James P. James P. Comer is recognized for his extraordinary and inspirational legacy of scholarship, teaching, and service, along with his deep dedication to improving educational outcomes and equity for all students, particularly those from non-privileged backgrounds. By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon James P. Comer the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. I now welcome you to the Honorable Company of Scholars of the University of Chicago. Congratulations.
Hélène Esnault is a world-renowned mathematician who is noted for her contributions to algebraic geometry, particularly its connection to number theory, and who has achieved other successes in a wide range of areas. This includes her work on vanishing with phi-vag, her work with Bloch and Beilinson on some conjectures of Deligne, her discovery of congruences among numbers of points on varieties in different finite fields and their connection to analytic invariance of the varieties, her work with Gröchenik on local systems that proved cases of the Grothendieck-Katz-Picard conjecture and led to the solution of the André-Oort conjecture, and her work with Bloch and Kertz on the infinitesimal version of the Hodge conjecture. The area she works in is extremely technically difficult and also abstract, having to do with solving systems of polynomial equations, the shape that these solution sets have, and how the shape interacts with the types of solutions that exist. Taken as a whole, her work represents a vision of algebraic geometry that touches upon most of the active branches of that vast field, but is nevertheless recognizably her own. Mr. President, on behalf of the Faculty Committee on Honorary Degrees, I have the honor to present Hélène Esnault for the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Science.
Hélène Esnault is recognized for her contributions to algebraic geometry, especially in connection to number theory. By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon Hélène Esnault the degree of Doctor of Science. I now welcome you to the Honorable Company of Scholars of the University of Chicago. Congratulations.
Callum Roberts is a global scientific leader in the field of conservation biology, whose research on the biodiversity and conservation of coral reefs and the broader oceans is of critical importance at multiple levels, from novel ideas to repeatable experiments, from detailed study systems to global data synthesis, and from complex theory to practical applications. His scholarship has made transformative advances in our understanding of marine systems and the tremendous impacts that humans have had upon the oceans. Perhaps most importantly, he discovered the rapid improvements that are possible in marine systems through the use of conservation areas, including marine protected areas, to offset their overuse by human population centers, including examples such as overfishing. This discovery has fundamentally changed the way that biologists study coral reefs and other nearshore marine systems, and has provided a clear path to recovery and improvement of heavily impacted areas. His scientific work and discoveries have transformed an entire field of inquiry and provide a bridge to improving our world. Mr. President, on behalf of the Faculty Committee on Honorary Degrees, I have the honor to present Callum Roberts for the Honorary Degree of Science.
Callum Roberts is recognized for his intellectual leadership in the field of marine conservation science and his demonstration of the importance of marine protected areas, leading to new possibilities for the replenishment of fisheries across the world and conservation of the ocean's resources. By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon Callum Roberts the degree of Doctor of Science. I now welcome you to the Honorable Company of Scholars of the University of Chicago. Congratulations.
James A. Wells is a pioneer in an exponentially growing field of protein engineering, and he's been instrumental in establishing its fundamental principles in their application to basic research and biomedical goals. His skillful ability to combine protein engineering with chemical biology is singular. He has made enormous impacts across diverse areas of biology and chemistry. His work has made essential contributions to shaping growth and scope of protein engineering, and he has been a principal thought leader and pioneer in this field. He has flourished in 3 distinct environments. He was one of the first principal scientists at Genentech when it was a fledgling biotechnology startup. His team uniquely and productively integrated and made use of the technologies that were then emerging in the twin revolutions of molecular biology and molecular genetics. His interest in developing a new class of small molecule drugs eventually spurred him to create a successful biotechnology firm, Synesis Pharmaceuticals, where he served as its chief scientific officer. He then joined the University of California at San Francisco, where his research and leadership have increased its prominence as an interdisciplinary center linking biochemistry and biophysics with synthetic and chemical biology. Mr. President, on behalf of the Faculty Committee on Honorary Degrees, I have the honor to present James A. Wells for the Honorary Degree Doctor of Science.
James A. Wells is recognized for his fundamental contributions to the fields of protein engineering and chemical biology, which form the backbone of contemporary biotechnology, enabling the creation and delivery of novel macromolecular agents to address a wide range of industrial and biomedical applications. By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon James A. Wells the degree of Doctor of Science. I now welcome you to the Honorable Company of Scholars of the University of Chicago. Congratulations.
Joseph Neubauer's involvement with the University of Chicago has been characterized by many years of distinguished service and philanthropic commitment. An active alumnus since earning his MBA from the Graduate School of Business in 1965, he was elected a member of the university's Board of Trustees in 1992 and became vice chair in 2012. He was elected chair of the Board of Trustees in 2015, a position he held for 7 years. During that time, the university concluded the University of Chicago campaign, Inquiry and Impact, the largest and most comprehensive campaign in its history, which increased support for faculty and researchers, practitioners and patients, and students and programs across the institution. He continues to serve the university as a trustee emeritus and as a life member of the University of Chicago Booth School of Business Council. Additionally, he and his wife, Jeanette Lerman Neubauer, support many areas of the university, including the Neubauer Collegium for Culture and Society, the Neubauer Family Assistant Professors Program, an endowed professorship at the Booth School of Business, the Neubauer Family Adelante Scholarship Programs, and the Booth Civic Scholars Program. In 2013, the Neubauers were awarded the University of Chicago Medal, which recognizes rare and distinguished service to the university of the highest order. And I would add that as the current chairman of the board, he's a very, very difficult act to follow. Mr. President, on behalf of the Faculty Committee on Honorary Degrees, I have the honor to present Joseph Neubauer for the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Laws.
Joseph Neubauer is recognized for his distinguished leadership of the Board of Trustees and for the significant impact of his contributions in support of the university's distinctive intellectual culture. By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon Joseph Neubauer the degree of Doctor of Laws. I now welcome you to the honorable company of scholars of the University of Chicago. Congratulations.
A pioneering mathematician specializing in the mathematical fields of geometry, Robert J. Zimmer served from 2006 to 2021 as the 13th president of the University of Chicago, taking on the role of chancellor in 2021 and becoming chancellor emeritus in July 2022. His ambitious vision and inspired leadership had a transformational impact on the university, resulting in the expansion of educational access and financial support for students through the creation of the Odyssey Scholarship Program, the development of a host of faculty-led institutes and centers, the establishment of the university's first engineering school, the expansion of the university's global presence through new centers in Beijing, Delhi, and Hong Kong, and strengthened partnerships with the City of Chicago and partner organizations on the South Side. His commitment to the university's foundational values of free expression, open discourse, and rigorous inquiry resulted in the creation of the Chicago Principles, which have been adopted or affirmed by more than 90 institutions across the country. During his presidency, the university enhanced its eminence among the top-ranked research universities in the United States and the world, and strengthened its position as an intellectual destination for many of the world's leading scholars and students. And I would just add that the university and everybody here benefited greatly from Bob's leadership, and the country benefited from it as well, because he was clearly one of the greatest university presidents in the country during his time that he served us. Mr. President, on behalf of the Faculty Committee on Honorary Degrees, I have the honor to present Robert J. Zimmer for the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Given his recent untimely passing, I would like to request that this degree be conferred in absentia.
Through his devotion to the University of Chicago's enduring values and core principles, with a particular focus on rigorous scholarly inquiry, academic freedom, and free expression, Robert J. Zimmer advanced the university's distinctive approach to research, education, and impact. By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon Robert J. Zimmer the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Each year, members of the university's distinguished faculty are honored for their exemplary skills and service as teachers. This morning, I'd like to acknowledge them by name and ask those who are here on the platform to stand to be recognized by the university community and our guests. For the Quantrell Award for Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching, Leora Oslander, author, and Joanne Rasmussen, professor in Western Civilization, Department of Race, Diaspora, and Indigeneity, Department of History, and the College. Michael D. Gladders, professor, Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics, and the College. Robert L. Kendrick, Robert O. Anderson, Distinguished Service Professor, Department of Music, Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, and the College. Phoebe Rice, Professor, Department of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, and the College. James T. Sparrow, Associate Professor, Department of History, and the College. For the Faculty Award for Excellence in Graduate Teaching and Mentorship, Elizabeth S. Clemens, William Rainey Harper, Distinguished Service Professor, Department of Sociology in the College. Paola Iovine, Associate Professor, Department of East Asian Languages and Civilizations and the College. Catherine D. Kinsler, Professor, Department of Psychology in the College and Chair of the Department of Psychology. And Boji Tien, Professor, Department of Chemistry, James Franck Institute, and the College. David E. Welbury, Leroy T. and Margaret Deffenbaugh Carlson University Professor, Department of Germanic Studies, John U. Neff Committee on Social Thought, and the College, and Chair of the Department of Germanic Studies. The deans of the several faculties will now present candidates for academic degrees to the president of the university. As the candidates stand, we invite you to recognize their achievements with applause. I invite Dean Mark Anderson to present candidates in the Division of the Biological Sciences and the Pritzker School of Medicine.
Thank you, Provost Baicker. Will all the degree candidates from the Division of Biological Sciences and the Pritzker School of Medicine please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the Division of Biological Sciences and the Pritzker School of Medicine, and the special programs approved by their departments. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Science, Master of Public Health, Doctor of Medicine, or Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Science, Master of Public Health, Doctor of Medicine, or Doctor of Philosophy. And I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I invite Dean Ann Walters Robertson to present candidates in the Division of the Humanities.
Will all the degree candidates from the Division of the Humanities please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the Division of the Humanities and the special programs approved by their departments. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Fine Arts, or Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Fine Arts, or Doctor of Philosophy. And I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I invite Dean Angela Alinto to present candidates in the Division of Physical Sciences.
Will all the degree candidates from the Division of the Physical Sciences please stand as able to be recognized? Woo! They're back there. Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the Division of the Physical Sciences and the special programs approved by their departments. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Science or Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Sciences or Doctor of Philosophy. And I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I invite Dean Amanda Woodward to present candidates in the Division of the Social Sciences.
Will all the degree candidates from the Division of the Social Sciences please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty in the Division of the Social Sciences and the special programs approved by their departments. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Arts or Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts or Doctor of Philosophy, and I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge or to enrich practice in your chosen field. Congratulations.
I invite Dean Madhav V. Rajan to present candidates in the Booth School of Business.
Will all the degree candidates from the Booth School of Business please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the Booth School of Business. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration or Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Business Administration or Doctor of Philosophy. I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I invite Dean Deborah Gorman-Smith to present candidates in the Crown Family School of Social Work, Policy, and Practice.
Will the degree candidates from the Crown Family School of Social Work, Policy, and Practice please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the Crown Family School of Social Work, Policy, and Practice. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Arts or Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts or Doctor of Philosophy, and I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I invite Dean James Theodore Robinson to present candidates in the Divinity School.
Will all the degree candidates from the Divinity School please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the Divinity School. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Divinity, Master of Arts, or Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Divinity, Master of Arts, or Doctor of Philosophy. And I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I invite Dean Seth Green to present candidates in the Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies.
Will all the degree candidates from the Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Liberal Arts, Master of Science, and Master of Arts in Teaching.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Liberal Arts, Master of Science, or Master of Arts in Teaching. And I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I invite Dean Ethan Bueno de Mesquita to present candidates in the Irving B. Harris Graduate School of Public Policy Studies.
Will all the degree candidates from the Irving B. Harris Graduate School of Public Policy Studies please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the Irving B. Harris Graduate School of Public Policy Studies. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Public Policy, or Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Public Policy, Master of Science, or Doctor of Philosophy. I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I invite Dean Thomas Miles to present candidates in the law school.
Will all the degree candidates from the law school please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the law school. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Laws, Master of Legal Studies, Doctor of Jurisprudence, or Doctor of Law.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Laws, Master of Legal Studies, Doctor of Jurisprudence, or Doctor of Law. And I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I invite Dean Matthew Tirrell to present candidates in the Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering.
Will all the degree candidates from the Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering please stand as able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering. I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Master of Science or Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Science or Doctor of Philosophy, and I express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
And now, in his final convocation as dean, I invite the one, the only, John W. Boyer to present candidates in the college.
Okay. We got to go to lunch, guys. Will all the candidates, degree candidates from the college, please stand as you're able to be recognized? Mr. President, these students have completed the prescribed program of undergraduate studies, and on behalf of the faculty of the college, I now have the honor to present them as candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science.
The University of Chicago College Class of 2023. By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science and welcome you to the Fellowship of Educated Individuals. Congratulations.
The University of Chicago Convocation Choir will now sing the university's alma mater. To all of those upon whom I have just conferred a degree, I want to offer my congratulations. You are now all graduates of the University of Chicago. As alums, I encourage you all to stay engaged with the university and our work. Keep us informed of your achievements, and of course, please visit often. This campus is your home. You are always welcome here. Congratulations once again, and farewell for now. This now concludes the 537th Convocation of the University of Chicago. Crescat scientia vita exculator. Let knowledge grow from more to more, and so be human life enriched.